We've got so much news to go over related to Anthem. We've got news about customization, job listings teasing possible new features coming to Anthem, and then also what games is Anthem looking to right now for inspiration, what is hot and what is not. That is actually really interesting, but let's start out with the job listings. So, Bioware posted a bunch of new job listings. I mean, a ton of new job listings for Anthem, including live service, executive producer for Anthem, and then principal gameplay designer for Anthem. Now, the live producer would be responsible for keeping this game alive way after its launch. As you guys know, this game is going to be a game that's going to be launching, and they plan to really support it with extensive post-launch support through DLCs and stuff like that. Now, it's going to be interesting to see what type of DLC system they go after, if it's going to be a season pass, or if they're going to be doing something, where they offer some sort of free DLC and then microtransactions with it. As you guys know, Anthem has been delayed into 2019, and I think that's indicating, honestly, that they are looking at a system to keep players together, hopefully, with microtransactions that actually make sense in terms of cosmetics and, of course, don't influence gameplay. What would you guys like to see? Would you like to see a season pass or, free DLC supported by microtransactions? It's always a big discussion for sure. But what about that customization news? So we're going to head over to Reddit, where, Redditor MonCZ Cam posted this. Wonder if they'll include visible damage on your Javelin as you lose hit points. I could take it or leave it. Just kind of thought it would be neat. Now, Brennan Holmes, who is a developer, the creative director on Bioware's Anthem, said this. This is something we've been talking about. It's a little unclear on whether or not we can incorporate it into the final shader solution, but I think we're definitely interested in something like this, end quote. Now that is really cool that he mentions shaders there, so it sounds like they're going to try to incorporate some sort of shader customization like we've seen in Destiny, where you have several different options. I really do think that they're going to go all in with the customization. One of the biggest problems with, for example, Star Wars Battlefront 2 is that they're tied down to Disney and they have to go through a bunch of approvals. This game is very much Bioware's own IP, which is wonderful. They can create whatever they want, whenever they want. Hopefully they don't get too crazy with it, of course. But I think customization is going to be a big deal, and that's a big indicator right there that is going to be true. And maybe, just maybe, we'll see more in the way of actually designing our own stuff. I wouldn't mind seeing that as well. Now, what games, is Anthem looking to for inspiration? This is an interesting topic, and Zazabi7 says this out on Reddit. How closely are you watching Destiny 2 and the decisions made there? The newest event, Crimson Days, seems like an awesome way to do content. Earned only punch-out card, so no duplicates. And Brennan says this, yep, we're definitely looking at what they're doing, though I think right now most of the gameplay team is pretty much deep into Monster Hunter, end quote. So yeah, they're looking to Destiny. I think with Destiny 2, they're probably looking at what that game did actually wrong with the microtransactions. And, with Star Wars Battlefront 2, there was a lot of controversy over loot boxes, the randomization of how you received things and how you progressed. And again, I go back to the fact that I think that actually delayed Anthem, all of these things, seeing, game after game having controversy related to microtransactions, how they're handling randomization, how they're handling that sort of thing. One game that has absolutely nailed how they do their, I guess you would say, season pass in a way, is Fortnite. They really have your rewards laid out in a line. You could see everything you're going to be getting in the future, and I personally really love that. Randomization is really cool, of course, in a game where you want to keep grinding and going after the world. Yeah, they've got to be very careful with the recent launches of Battlefront 2 and Destiny 2 with, the controversies around that. So that's really important to remember. But, in this quote here, you have to remember what he says. He says, that the team is pretty much deep into Monster Hunter, so they're really studying that game, it seems. That game has been insanely successful, and for good reason. It's doing a lot of things right with the team play and a lot of the systems under the hood. And, you know, one thing about that game is that it's kind of really deep. It's not a shallow game at all. You know, some of the mechanics for casual gamers may be kind of off-putting, and they're probably looking at really making Anthem very, very deep, of course. And another thing about, you know, Monster Hunter is the fact that it has a lot of customization in it, and you know, you keep upgrading your character. It doesn't have where you go in and you actually upgrade your character with actual stats. A lot of that is done through, you know, your weapons, going out in the world and actually, you know, taking down beasts. And you know, Anthem, from what I understand, is really about going out into the world, taking on beasts, creatures, because they did mention previously that it's unlikely that you're going to be getting out of your suit. You're not going to be exploring the open world outside of your suit because you're going to be a fragile human being. That's indicative that you will be seeing big creatures. They actually did mention that the creatures are very dangerous in this game, and that's why that they don't want to do that. They don't want to have it where, you know, you are out of your suit getting killed all the time. You have to have your suit. So I'm so curious to see what they do with these creatures for sure. And for them to look to Monster Hunter is really great. I cannot wait to see what they take away from Monster Hunter. It's a great game, has great systems, so that's really exciting. I mean, just look at the world of Anthem. It personally really does remind me of Avatar, and honestly a little bit of Monster Hunter at the same time. But the exploration for Anthem is going to be very different. You know, they did say that you know, flight is going to be very interesting for the suits. For Anthem, they don't really have a suit designed specifically for flight itself, and they do have a ceiling where you can't, you know, fly into space, and it's going to be very gradual as you go. So that's another thing they did speak about on Reddit as well. So they're considering a lot of things. Do you guys want to see, you know, a Javelin dedicated just to flight mechanics? They did say that they're looking into a Javelin that's more up close and personal, possibly. That's more melee centric, so that could be a possibility in the future. But guys, there you have it, the latest happenings around Anthem. This game is shaping up to be something, in my opinion, it could be really, really special, a good time with friends. No word about PvP. I know a lot of you guys are still asking about PvP, whether we would see that or not. Personally, I think this game is going to be more like, kind of like a Monster Hunter Ark Survival Evolved experience, where it's not really about the PvP. And you know what? That's cool. I'm for that. I think it's going to be a good time for sure. But guys, thanks for watching. Stay tuned here to Open World Games for more Anthem, and I will see you guys later.